Hello, good afternoon, good day, good morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. Today, we're going to talk about preparing to have a conversation, emotionally preparing to have a conversation. My name is Rodney.
And I'm Keith, and this is the More in Common Daily Chronicle, where we decided it would be really cool to do a daily series of our journey to get where we're going so we can leave it for our daughters when they get to their journey at the beginning. They can look back at what we had to accomplish, endure, work through, manage, whatever the case may be. And then, hey, let's put it on the internet because that's what people do these days. And let's build some community around it and learn from others. So we have learned from you and we continue to do so. So starting a
So,
conversation.
yeah, so Keith and I have been planning to have this conversation about the concept of being anti racist for I don't know, at least a week, maybe a week and a half. And I keep putting it off. And I realized this morning that I'm putting it off because I'm not in a place where I can have a productive conversation. Uh, Events going on in the world, more shootings, more ridiculousness, like it will trigger my anger if we start having this conversation and it will not go to a productive place. So I've been just stiff arming. I've just been like, nah, like I don't feel like it today. I don't feel like it today. But today I was actually like, no, no, I'm not in a good place to talk about it. Like it just, I'll end up yelling at you or something like that. And I think it's where we can be honest about our emotional state or what we think our emotional state will be as a result of a conversation. I think is important to honor. And but even if you can't and you just know you need to not have it, like then that's an important thing because I would like to have I think this is an important topic, and I want to try and do it justice by having a productive conversation with you, my dude, um, versus one where I get all angry.
Yeah, I think this speaks volumes to an interesting component of society today that we actually have to look at how we define what conversation is and what its intent is. We have so much information. We all have opinions. We all have thoughts, and we all are quick to share them. But at the end of the day, conversation is an avenue for connection. And having a conversation about a particular topic that might charge you or the other person um, has to be rooted in the idea of why we're going to have this conversation. Is it to advance the connection that we have with each other? Is it to advance our relationship? Is it to have productive dialogue that's going to achieve something? That's what conversation is all about. We quickly root in this idea that we need to debate and prove other people wrong in those conversations. And I'm a big advocate for delineating when we're debating versus when we're having a conversation. And quite honestly, Rodney and I don't debate. We try to have conversations all the time, even if it kind of looks like, we're positioning points, which is part of conversation, but debate is to be won. Conversation is not. And
And
so, having that emotional check-in is important to manage the relationship first versus the thoughts that you have.
yeah, and you bring up a good point. Like I think it's in being intentional about like what you're trying to get out of it. Debate has a place
Totally. I agree.
and is useful. I actually love debating. I really enjoy debating. But if the other person thinks it's a conversation and you're debating, and then I think there is a way to debate in where it's not about winners and losers. Like it's not that's not the norm. That's not the construct around debating. But I personally think it's possible to have a productive debate that is about taking these seemingly disparate ideas, discussing them, hashing them out from every angle, and then trying to form something new or new thoughts out of it. But the key for this conversation is being intentional when you go into a conversation. And I think I was actually it's like my wife and I had a hard conversation yesterday, and we had to spend like a fair amount of time like resetting the conversation because we were both upset, but we were upset about different things, and then we realized we were talking about different things, and we had to go back and reset what we were talking about. And I think that that's something that we should probably do more. I'm actually reading a really good book about building community and building spaces, and it kind of talks about the fact that, we set meetings and we set agendas, and often for the most important things, and there's a wide range from one-on-one to like one-to-many kinds of scenarios, where the most important things, we don't put much thought and time into why we're having the conversation or why we're meeting, what we're going to get out of it. We just do that for the things that we have to, and not the things that we should be doing it for. And it's kind of causing me to reset on just what you're talking about, Keith, like discussion v debate. Like, what are we here for? What are we doing with this?
And I would challenge the idea that debate is bringing two different points of view to a common place. Debate is to be one. Conversation brings two different points of view to a common place. That common place may be to agree to disagree, but it's not for me to try to change your mind, which is what debate's all about. I want to win this argument. And it breaks down connection. It breaks down our ability to relate and have relationships. It causes family members to say, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you voted for Trump. Or it causes these circumstances to occur more and more because we're not setting those boundaries. So any case,
I would, real quick on debate, like, so the reason I'm saying that I challenge the structure of it, because I took a lot of debate classes growing up, and I think as a structure for thinking about things, like how to look at them and how to argue them, frankly,
sure,
it's very useful. I think that the output of winning doesn't have to be the output. Like, we've accepted that. That's the definition of debate. It doesn't have to be.
Sure,
is my point.
That's fair. No.
Yeah.
So how do you think about conversation and debate?
You know what?
Checking your emotions.
I think I won this conversation. So
damn it. that one vote for a winner. Who won this conversation? That's what the question is today. All right, we're out.